Hi K-Loves! Today we're going to be talking about stewardship, self-mastery, and money. So, as you can see from the title, I lost 20 bands, okay? So, let's get into the story. So, say you're in college, you got a lot of money, you're getting a lot of money each month. This is your first time getting so much money. I thought I was balling at that time. I was like, and you're just thinking, wow, like I've never, like, I feel so excited that I can buy the things that I want. I don't have to look at the name tag or the price tag. I don't have to, I could just swipe my card, get clothes. Like, I'm wearing some clothes that I bought before right now. And you just feel so happy that you're able to actually buy the things that you actually wanted. And you feel like you're on top of the world because now you have everything that you want, right? You understand, now that you actually went through, you understand that it's not everything, but it is very important, right? Money is a tool, but it's not the whole world, because you were still a little sad after you spent that money on clothes, on hair products and stuff like that, but you still understand the importance of money in general, right? So now, after all of that, getting money from track in college, I want to tell you what I'm doing right now to make sure I'm still gonna get money, but I'm gonna make sure I actually know what I'm doing and steward it correctly. Okay, so right now I'm mastering myself. The first thing I'm gonna do is master myself. So that goes into basically understanding me, understanding what I actually like, how I move, how I operate, and also just like where I went wrong, so I can fix it, and I can build systems within myself and outside of myself to make sure I stay on track and actually build the life that I want, right? And then also making sure, no matter the situation, I'm able to control myself, perform the way I need to, whether it's like investing or anything like that, or building a business, right? Overcoming obstacles and making sure I'm the expert level. I'm on an expert level within myself. I'm every day I'm showing up as my dream self, my dream woman. So I can just continue living the life I know God wants me to, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go over the things that I learned from that experience. And one of the biggest things I learned is I needed to change my mindset, because back then I was naive. I didn't understand the emotions that come with money. I know I need to read the psychology of money, because I feel like that will really help me now, and it will help me in the future. But just understanding, me spending that money, yeah, it gives me a dopamine hit at that certain time, but it's not the source of happiness, right? And also knowing that with my mindset, I'm still able to make money no matter where I am, right? I'm able to make money, but I also understand that it can still be taken away from me, because back then I was like, there's no way I'm gonna lose money. What do you mean? But it happened, right? I was in a negative, and it wasn't fun. But it's just changing that mindset, like actually making sure you understand that there are, yes, you can get your blessings, but it can also be taken away if you're not actually pretend this is your garden. Like if you're not sowing into your garden and just harvesting, you're not going to be in a good position. Okay. Also, yes, I do believe in God. I do believe that God is always going to provide, but I need to make sure I know how money works. How like there's once you start actually studying how money works, how to budget, things like that, you will understand how much you don't know. Like things like Roth IRAs, high yield savings accounts. I'm like, whoa, there's just so much information out there that I just didn't know about. So the biggest thing I learned, it was to actually learn about money, right? And one thing is like just tracking your money, how much is going out. I couldn't tell you, I can't tell you how much money I've actually spent on clothes. This is something I bought when I was from the money in college, right? I couldn't tell you, right? Depending on what you want to do with your money, so it's gonna be percentages like needs, wants. Some people do investing, saving. I didn't have that. I didn't do that back then. It was just, oh, somebody needs help, let me help you buy a car. Somebody needs help, let me help you with this, let me help you pay a bill. I want clothes, I'm gonna buy some clothes, right? Like something I will also do was, I didn't have an actual structure for saving money. All right, I would have a lot of money in my bank account, and then I would take the money out, like half of it that was in my savings account, and take it out of the bank and put it in a safe and leave it there. So I'm like, okay, I don't see this money, so it's basically I just forget about it, right? But that's not a good, like, it worked at the time kind of, but it also obviously didn't work for the best. But I didn't have an actual structure. I didn't understand like the actual process of actually saving money, investing. I didn't invest back then. I wish I would have invested back then. But right now I built systems, so each time I get paid, I know exactly where my money is going. Each dollar has an actual job, and I know exactly where my money is going. I'm still able to help people. Obviously, there's gonna be a certain amount, right? But and my budget is, I know I'm using this amount to help people. I'm using this amount for needs. I'm using this amount to reinvest in myself. I'm actually investing right now. I'm saving certain amounts, right? But I swear, once you start learning about money, you will not regret it. Okay? Another thing was getting a mentor. It can either be somebody online, so parasocial mentors, so somebody you watch on YouTube that would teach you about money, or it could be somebody in your life. They have to be knowledgeable, and it's gonna go to my next point. They have to be knowledgeable about money, and actually have to have proof, right? Because one thing I learned was to not take money advice from poor people. Do I think that poor people have good advice? Yes, but more times than not, they don't know certain information, or they will give you information based on the place that they're in life. They will give you advice on stuff based on what they know or what they've been through. Like, one example, somebody told me to pay only the minimum balance on the credit card, on your credit card, but then a rich person told me to pay the whole balance off each month, and just like next month pay it again. But I'm not a financial advisor, but the one that made sense was from the rich person, because now you don't have fees at the end of the month. But I swear, like, there's so much information out there, and once you actually have people that know what they're talking about and actually have proof that they can actually get to where you want to go, just take advice from them. Take it with a grain of salt, but take advice from them. And next one, I would definitely put my focus on a different kind of work. So I believe that we're supposed to be creators on this earth. So with me, with track in college, there's only a limited amount of time, ways to make money when you're using your physical body and time. So your body's going to deteriorate at some point. You'd get hurt, whatever. That's based on your physical. And then with time, there's only so much time in the day, so there's a lot of limitations on how you can. There's going to be limitations. So when I made the 20K, I was in college. I was on a full scholarship, so I would get a stipend each month. I would basically I would be using my physical body, and I would be using the time to make money, right? But with those two, there's only so much money that you can make. So if any of those deteriorates, there's not going to be money coming in. So what I should have done was make my focus on building more assets, building more a business or something like that, where I'm using my communication skills and things like that, and so where I'm able to make money off of my thoughts, because nobody can take that away from me, or like my voice. And that's what I'm doing right here, making YouTube, and I'm also a life coach. I specialize in self-mastery, alignment, and stewardship. So I do one-on-ones and groups, and I will be putting the link in the description. But another big thing I would definitely focus on was strengthening skills. So one thing I'm mastering right now is my communication. I've been doing a lot of research, and they've been saying the same thing, right? Your brand is very important. Your communication is very important in making money and becoming a millionaire. So that's something that I really want to work on. I started my mastering communication in early December of 2025. So I've seen an improvement. The people in my life seen an improvement. So I would definitely focus on skills that can actually bring you money, and also just make you get actual meaningful connections in your life. Right? Another thing was not being so comfortable, because when I was in college, I was comfortable. I was comfortable, but at that time where I was comfortable, I should have been actually working and building something. So when I leave college, I'm able to not only build more things, but I'm able to actually gather what the stuff that I'm building and create it even larger, and I have something to fall back on. All right, and I was also building a brand. Oh gosh, when I was in college, I was US number 1. I had the school record. I was doing a lot. So make sure when you have that momentum, you keep it going and build your brand talk to people. Oh gosh, relationships in general, with family, friends, business partners, cultivating those relationships. That's a skill in itself. Building relationships and conflict resolution, those are still skills, but I wish I did take that seriously in college. And just make sure I had a good foundation. But I want you guys on my journey to becoming a millionaire, because it's going to happen. 2026, what's up? I just started a coaching business. Like I said before, I just want to, I feel like this is what I was put on this earth to do, to serve people. I've always wanted to help people, and this is something that it just really excites me. Not only just talking to people, but actually helping them become the best version of themselves, and just make sure they align, they know what they want, and you are going to get what you need. But once it comes in, once you align with what you want and what you need, once it comes in, you know how to steward it. You won't be surprised when 10K comes into your account, and you know how to invest it. You're gonna know how to multiply it. You're gonna know who to help with this money. You're gonna make sure you understand what position you're in, so you can help the people around you and help yourself become the best version of yourself. Because in here, K-Loves, you're here to become the best version of yourself, and help other people do the same. All right, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and read the description to book a one-on-one with me. Bye.